Yeah, it's so much fun. That was gold finding that. I don't even remember how I found
Yeah.
that, but
Are you
yeah.
part of that like Reddit page?
Well, it was on the Something Awful forums originally, so I don't think it's not actually a Reddit thing.
Uh,
But I think I may have found it
what is
through Reddit,
that?
like someone linked it. Something
Okay,
Awful
so that's like a
forum.
forum. Something
Yeah,
awful. Yeah.
that's probably. I think it's older. Like I think some creepypastas originated there.
Okay.
Um, like that's
Huh.
where a lot of creepypastas would originate, like forum sites like that. I know the Rake
Yeah.
creepypasta that originated on 4chan. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think Slender Man originated on
Originated
Something
up there.
Awful. I'm pretty sure. Slender Man. Let me see. It's a fictional character, not the movie. Can you imagine having to watch the Slender Man movie from 2018?
I actually wish that they would make like a good movie out of that.
Yeah, it
I,
was the
I always
Something
did find
Awful.
that like really creepy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was the Something Awful forum. But yeah, honestly, like I think I almost feel like I mentioned it earlier on the podcast. The movie Sinister almost is a Slender
Mm.
Man adaptation. Honestly, like you could call that movie
Mm.
Slender Man, and if you just made Bagul look slightly more like the Slender Man, because he already looks
Mm.
like him. He's dressed exactly like him.
Mm.
Like from the neck
But the
down,
narrative
he's.
is kind of yeah.
Mhm.
Like the narrative with him and like the whole thing with the kids is kind of along those lines anyway.
Yeah, and the way he lives in videos, doesn't Slender Man sort of live in photographs or something like that? I don't
I don't
remember.
know.
Or does
Like
he just live in the
I
woods? I don't
have
remember.
played that Slenderman game, like the original one. Like back then, it was just like a game where you were just like a child with like a lamp
Oh God,
and like like a flashlight. That's what that game was. It was terrifying playing that game.
that sounds horrific.
It was huge at the time. Oh yeah, dude, it was huge at the time because like PewDiePie was making videos like playing it and stuff, and it was literally just that. It was just like you're in the middle of the woods, you have a flashlight, and then you're just walking around,
Yeah.
and then you just start seeing that thing, and then you're just like going wherever it's not, and eventually it just catches you. But dude, that was terrifying.
Yeah, I bet,
So
dude.
if you haven't played that thing, that's probably for the better.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Yeah, no, I would like a solid, a solid attempt at a Slender Man film. I think they attempted
Slenderman movie. Yeah.
yeah. I think they attempted the Rake, I believe. I want to say they did, but I think it ended up just being some kind of direct to video garbage.
Mm.
I don't think they really. I can't think of any creepypasta movies that have actually become really famous.
Mm.
Creepypasta movies.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you because I know that they made a Slenderman movie, but I know that it was like dog shit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it had like a 5% on Rotten Tomatoes or something. People shat on that movie. Oh, you know
Maybe the Bye
what?
Bye Man originated
Yeah.
there.
Oh, you know what? There was some success, I think, with the creepypasta genre in television because they had. I've been meaning to check this out forever. That Channel Zero show.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
I've heard like the first season of that, and some even say the second season. They're the shit. They're really good.
Mm.
I know the first
You
season.
know what I never.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I was just gonna say the first
Oh, was that?
season. The first season is
Yeah, go ahead.
Edward. Chill. No, I'm just kidding. The first the first season is based on the Candle Cove creepypasta, and then the second season is based on No End House, which
I gotta watch. I gotta watch that.
yeah. Do you remember No End House?
Oh yeah, I read that, dude.
Dude, that was pretty scary, man.
That was terrifying. That was terrifying.
What were you gonna say? Well, we were kind of talking over each other.
Oh no, dude! I was gonna say that Guillermo del Toro show, like Cabinet of Curiosities or something like that. I still have to check that out.
Oh yeah, that's right. My dad was telling me about that. He was apparently watching that, and he
Really?
said it was pretty good. Yeah, I gotta check that out.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta check that out, dude. Like just talking about this, like horror like show, like anthology adaptations.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, No End
Yeah,
House freaked me
but
out as a kid, man. That
that
freaked.
that freaked me out. No, dude, I remember when I read that, I like imagined it in my head like so vividly.
Oh, I did too.
Like it like haunted me. I to this day I can remember like how I can remember like reading it and like sections of my imagination, like how my imagination like interpreted things. Like it was terrifying.
Oh
Like
yeah.
some of the words, like some of like my biggest like, oh, I should not have done that moments when it came to like reading or watching scary movies came from creepypasta shit.
Oh
Of just
yeah.
being like, oh, I shouldn't be reading this, but now I'm reading it and here I am.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I remember when I discovered them. I remember when I discovered creepypastas. The first thought it was ironic because the night before, I remember I had watched The Conjuring, and I was like, all right, that was sort of scary, I guess. And then I remember like the next day. This was when I was like a teenager, discovering
Mm.
creepypastas. And my first thought was, this is so much scarier than The Conjuring.
Yeah.
My first thought was, these scare me so much more than The Conjuring movie did, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, No End House freaked me out. For anyone listening
Mm.
I feel like most people listening know what these are, but anyone listening who doesn't know that one, No End House, it's like a guy basically takes a payment. He like takes up an offer to get paid to go through a haunted house basically. And the first few
Mhm.
rooms, it's like 12 rooms, and the first couple rooms are just little paper mache ghosts and like a, you know, like some mummy figurine, one of those like things that might be outside someone's doorstep on Halloween. And it's just laughable. And then he gets to like the third one, and the nightmare begins, where he's just in this endless sort of loop, like just going through these rooms that he encounters just these horrific visions and all this crazy shit. And the ending sticks with you because he gets out of room 12, like the final room, and he's back in the lobby where the paper mache ghosts and stuff are. And I remember the
Mm.
ending is something like, I laughed as I drove home. I laughed all the way as I walked up my driveway and
Well,
up
yeah,
to
dude,
my door, and
it's
I laughed.
horrifying. Yeah.
Yeah, then he goes, I laughed when I saw the and he's like, and then I laughed as I saw the number 13 etched into my door. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
He's never
Yeah.
getting out of there, man. So
Yeah.
scary. Um
Yeah.
there were a few that really scared me. There's some underrated ones too. Because a lot of the mainstream ones, like I know Jeff the Killer, that image is really famous, but the story is
Yeah,
actually
I remember that.
complete
Yeah,
garbage.
the story's not good, but I remember that image. And at the end of that story, it just shows you like the image of him.
Yeah.
Very unpleasant one.
Oh yeah, definitely. The Rake
Yeah.
scared me quite a bit. The Rake scared
What
me a
was that
lot.
about? Because I don't remember the names very well. I just remember like certain stories.
Yeah, if you look up the Rake, it's like it looks kind of like Gollum almost from Lord of the Rings, or
Mm.
a little bit like those things from The Descent. Like it's just kind of this
Mm.
scrawny humanoid thing. But the story was basically this woman wakes up in the middle of the night, like her and her husband wake up in the middle of the night, and the Rake is just sitting at the foot of their bed, like this creature. And then it runs out of the room and runs down the hall to the kids' room.
Mm.
And then they run after it, and it basically kills the kids. And then the husband dies as he's rushing them to the hospital. He dies like in a car accident or something. Really dark, very dark.
Jeez, yeah.
But then the story continues with the woman. She like lives alone basically, and she realizes that the Rake is still kind of stalking her, and she sets up
Mm.
a digital recorder near her bed. And then when she listens back to it, she can hear it I guess like speaking while she's while she's sleeping, just like really fucking scary.
Yeah.
But that one scared me.
They made a movie about that.
The Rake?
Yeah, is that a movie? Yeah, that's like a movie with like a 12% Rotten
Yeah.
Tomatoes.
Yeah, it's another one of those crap
Yeah,
ones. It came out a
yeah,
few years ago, I remember, too. Yeah, 2018, you said?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, here it is. Yeah, it was. It's a shame because the stories are really scary, man. But
Yeah.
I don't know, for whatever reason, they just can't make it happen in film. But I guess in
No, they can't make them into like decent movies.
yeah, but I guess in television with Candle Cove, they made it happen, or with Channel Zero.
Mm.
The first season was the Candle Cove creepypasta. That one was always pretty creepy. I remember.
Yeah.
There's some
I
underrated
I have
ones.
it I have it open, like
Oh, do
the
you?
Rake one.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll probably probably read that at some point.
Oh, the
I'll let
creepypasta.
it be, and yeah, I have the creepypasta open.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh man, it's so
I'll get
scary.
to it.
Yeah. There were some underrated ones that I actually found really scary. Probably my favorite of all time, and I think it may have even been taken down for some reason off of the creepypasta wiki, which is crazy. It's still on creepypasta.com, but the way he did it was like he would update it every few years because it was written like investigative journalism. But the creepypasta is called 1999, and it's basically about this guy who grew up in Canada in this city called Caledon or something like that. And basically on one of the public access channels, there's this strange show called Mr. Bear's Cellar. Have you ever heard of this one?
Mm. Mm-mm.
And like basically weird shit happens on it, and long story short, it's basically the broadcastings of some serial killer that dresses up like a bear, and he like lures children
Mm.
to his house and then kills them like on camera. And the whole thing is like him now as an adult, because he almost gets lured to that house as a kid. And then the main character as an adult is now writing these sort of journal entries as he's investigating, because basically what happened was the guy who dressed up as Mr. Bear like went missing and the police never found him. So the story is him kind of like piecing together. It has a similar feel to Zodiac, the movie Zodiac, a little bit. Very creepy, man. I always found it so scary when I was younger reading it. That was a good one. That was a really good one.
I really can't remember like the names of any of these things, man. But to me, and I think I remember talking to you about it. Like to me, like one that I actually like still think about was just one about this guy whom he was just like in his house, and he knew that his brother was like his brother had like a room like in the basement, and he just like kept hearing like this like tapping all the time. Remember me like saying this to you
Yeah.
at some point?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever read that? Like, did I
did.
tell you what the name of that thing was? Okay.
I think it's
Yeah,
called.
because I remember.
I think it's called We Dance or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's the name of it. That sent like shivers on my spine. Jeez.
Oh yeah, We Danced.
We dance.
Yeah, that one's pretty creepy. They say, yeah,
But I think about
it ends
that.
with him saying, "I flip on a light and fall into a chair. It's safe. I relax and think for a few moments, but then I notice my foot tapping. Maybe this song isn't so bad. I almost like it enough to dance to it. So I drop down on my hands and feet and I start." Yeah, that one's fucking creepy, man.
I don't know what that one's so creepy. Like I don't know what it is about that one, but it's just so like it's like this weird circle, where of like this like weird like inevitability of like just something like consuming you, maybe like your psyche or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that one terrified me when I read it. Like it just terrified me. And I actually think about that story like at least like once every like 2 weeks, like once in a while. That just comes up to my head randomly, you know.
Yeah.
Not happy thoughts. I'm glad that I stopped reading those fucking things. They're not great. This is not good for you. It's not good for you to be consuming this like horrific like imagery in your head.
No, not at all. Yeah, I ate it up when I was a teenager. There was
So did
another
I.
one.
So did I.
Yeah, there was another one that was excuse me, that was pretty underrated, but it was one of the first ones that I read. I don't think it's very famous at all, actually. It's called Where Bad Kids Go. Have you ever heard of that one?
I don't think so. Again, like, dude, I don't remember like the names of any of these stories.
Oh yeah,
I did read like a lot of them. I usually would read like I was like lazy about it because I usually would just read like the shorter ones. If you tap on one and it would be like a long ass like one, I'll be like, no, I'm not reading that.
yeah.
So the longer ones I didn't read them, but like the shorter ones, like a humongous amount of like the really short like little ones, I read a lot of those.
Yeah. The Where Bad Kids Go is it's like a it's a like little flash fiction, but it's like that one is basically this guy remembering when he was a little kid and he lived in I believe it was Lebanon, and it was they had like propaganda on TV where they would have these little like late night specials where it was a kids show, and it was like it was they were basically using like scare tactics to keep kids in line, so they were saying, you know, like bad kids, you know, don't brush their teeth, bad kids don't eat their vegetables, things like that. And then the show at the at the end of the show, it would always kind of like zoom in on this door, and as it got closer to the door, you could hear kids inside the room screaming in pain, and then it would say like Where Bad Kids Go. And then basically the story ends with the guy, he becomes basically like a photographer for journalism or whatever, and he figures out the location where they filmed it, and he goes in and he finds this he finds that door, and he goes inside, and inside all over the floor there's like bits of like bone and stuff, like bones and like little skeletons and stuff on the ground. And then hanging from the ceiling is a microphone that was like, you know, it's supposed to be like it was picking up the screams or whatever. So they were like real screams. But that one always freaked me out. Because again, it's like, it's just the stuff that you don't see, you know, it's just that freaking subtle, creepy ass shit. That one scared the shit out of me, I remember.
Yeah.
But that's a really underrated one. I've never talked to anybody who's ever heard of that one.
Really?
No.
Huh. Well, hopefully we've like enticed some people to seek these out, but I don't recommend it. If anybody's like listening to us and being like, "Oh, these guys are really making me feel like reading some creepypastas," don't read any creepypastas.
Yeah, a lot of them are. Yeah, a lot of them are scary. A lot of them are like good attempts, and it's like this would be scary if it were written better. But then, of course, there's like the OGs. There's the Russian sleep experiment. You remember that one? I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I know that one. I know that one. Yeah, I know that one.
That one's freaky.
I know that one. I didn't
Smile
read
Dog.
that one. I listened to that one. Like there's like some of the longer ones I listened to, like Mr. Creepypasta or whatever. I would just like just listen to them.
Yeah.
You know, like the Ronald McDonald one, that one. You know, like a lot of them I listened to them.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna read this. I'll just have a guy read this for me.
Mr. Creepypasta is awesome, man. I love that guy. He's read a couple of my short stories. You knew
So
that, right?
That's what I was gonna shout you out. I was gonna say that. I was gonna say that's happened.
Yeah. No, he's awesome, man. He's a good dude, and I've talked to him because he's, you know, I've sent him some of my stories, and he would reply and stuff, and we would chat back and forth sometimes. Great guy. Obviously I'm biased because he's read some of my stories. I'm like, oh, he's the best guy ever.
He's great. He's the best guy ever.
Thank you, Mr. Creepypasta. Very cool. Yeah.
Thanks, guy.
But yeah, that was flattering. That was nice.
No, no, that guy was awesome. A lot of them. I just heard like I know them because that guy like read them. You know,
Yeah.
great guy. He's doing the Lord's work.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right,
The
Edward, give us
devil's
your
work.
recap.
Well, sir, this past week I did not watch any movies. As it goes.
Big
But I did listen.
surprise.
Yeah, right. But I did listen. I did listen to some music. Um, to because I've been in the Fs, and I listened to the album by the Free Nationals. It's self-titled. This is the Free Nationals, and